Good morning children, this is your social science class. Today we are going to see about central government in civics. So in this chapter you will come to know about the executive and judicial powers of the President of India, about the Supreme Court, the Prime Minister's function and duties, and the powers and functions of the Parliament. So all these things will be discussed in this chapter. The central government is the supreme government in our country. The headquarters of the central government is at New Delhi. So we all know that central government is the supreme, the most highest position in our country. We all live in a state, right? Tamil Nadu. We have CM and other ministers in our state. But all the states are under the central government. So it is the supreme power in our country. It is located in New Delhi. Now we'll see about the President of India. So the first President of India was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So he was the very first President of independent India. Now we'll see about the President's roles. The Chief Executive of the Indian Union is the President. He is designated as the first citizen of India. So the Chief Executive of the Indian Union. So the most highest person, most superior powered person is the President. So he is considered to be the first citizen of India. He is a supreme commander of the armed forces. So for the armed forces, he is considered to be the supreme commander. The photo of the present President is also included in this video, children. You can see that too. Now we'll see about the qualification for the election as President. So as a President also we need some qualification. The first one is he should be a citizen of India. So that is a very basic quality for all the positions. He must have completed the age of 35 years. So he must have completed age 35. Okay. He must not hold any office of profit under the union, state or local government. That is, he should not get any salary. He should not be profited under state or local government. He should be apart from all these things. He should have the other qualifications required to become the member of the Lok Sabha. So he should also have the qualifications which is required to become the member of Lok Sabha. For Lok Sabha we need certain qualifications. So all these qualification is required, which means is essential for the President also. His or her name should be proposed by at least 10 electors and seconded by another 10 electors of the Electoral College which elects the President. So for the President, he has to be, his name has to be proposed by 10 electors. So all these 10 electors must agree him as a President. Without anyone's agreement denies, he would not be elected as a President. So nearly 20 electors must agree him as a President. The President cannot be a member of a parliament or a state legislature. If he is a member of any legislature, he will be demand to have vacant on the date he or she assumes the office of President. So when he has a power, when he gets the power of a President, he must be vacant as a member of the state legislature, parliament or anything. So he must not own any other position, any other authority except this President. Okay. So the President is elected for a time of 5 years and can be re-elected. So once in 5 years he can be elected. If he wants, we can re-elect him also. Next we'll see about the powers of President. So the President has a very big power in him. We'll see about it. He appoints a Prime Minister and the other members of the Council of Ministers, distributing portfolios to them on the advice of the Prime Minister. So he is having the power to appoint the portfolio, to appoint the Council of Ministers. So we have a certain ministries, right? This minister is for this team, this ministry, this field. See, Finance Minister, Education Minister, Armed Force Minister, something we have for all these categories. We have certain ministers, right? So he has the power to appoint all this, okay, with the advice of the Prime Minister. He is responsible for making a wide variety of appointments. So all the wide variety of appointments has been done by him. These includes appointment of governors of states, the Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Court, and Auditor General, the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners of the chairman. So these are the field that has been given for him. Okay, he has to appoint all these persons. Annual budget of the central government is presented before the Lok Sabha by the Union Finance Minister only with the permission of the Prime President. So the annual budget, we have some annually, yearly ones we'll have some budget. The price of all things will be said in that time. So that is also given by him. Okay, with the permission of the president only, that is also allotted, presented. So the president has the power to grant pardons, respites or remissions of punishment, or to commute the sentence of any person convicted of an offence. So the president only have the power to stop or delay the punishment of pardoner, which means some people will be in prison for many years, like in Rajiv Gandhi murder case, no, Nalini and so some other persons have joined, say they were in the prison for a very long time, so they can have they were keep on asking for the pardons to the president. So only the president has the power to grant pardons, or he can delay the punishment also, or he can decrease the punishment also. If he has granted 28 years or 30 years means he can reduce it. So all these powers are given only to the president of the country. Okay, now Prime Minister. Article 74 says there shall be a council of ministers with the Prime Minister as a head to aid and advise the president. So the group of ministers with the Prime Minister who is a head, okay, he has to help and advise the president. So the Prime Minister has the most important power in the country. We all know that Jawaharlal Nehru is the first Prime Minister of our country, independent country. Okay, we'll see about the duties and functions of the Prime Minister. Before that, we all know that today Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of our country, right? We all know that, children. Okay, now we'll see about the duties and functions of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister decides the rank of his ministers and distributes various departments. So the Prime Minister only will be giving issuing the rank to his ministers. So all ministers have certain rank, right? So he will be distributing all that, and various departments also will be distributed by him. The Prime Minister decides the dates and agenda of the meeting of the cabinet which he presides. So when the all the ministers should gather for the cabinet meeting, everything will be decides with the dates and the agenda, what are the things to be discussed in that meeting, everything will be said by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister supervises the work of various ministers. So under him various ministers are working, right? So he has the power to supervise all those things. The Prime Minister is the leader of the nation. So we all know that Prime Minister is the leader of our nation, right? So whatever our PM, now the present PM says, we all are obeying, the whole nation is obeying for him, respecting him, right? So he is considered to be the leader of the nation. As the leader of the nation, the Prime Minister represents our nation at all international conferences. So India is participating in many international conferences, right? So the Prime Minister only represents our nation, okay? Like Commonwealth and SAARC nations and all. We have certain meetings, right? So all these things will be arranged by him. Okay, only Prime Minister represents our nation. So all the people or any other minister will not attend that. Only the Prime Minister represents our nation. Okay, children. Next we'll see about the Parliament of India. The Parliament of India consists of three parts. They are President, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha means Council of States, and Lok Sabha means House of the People. The Rajya Sabha is known as the upper house and the Lok Sabha is the lower house. So the parliament has three parts: President, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Now we'll see about the Rajya Sabha. The Council of State or Rajya Sabha consists of 250 members, out of whom 238 represent the states and the union territories. So this Rajya Sabha, it consists of 250 members. Out of that, 230 will be representing the states and others the union territories. We'll see about the qualification of the Rajya Sabha members. He should be a citizen of India. This is a very basic quality, and he should be not be less than 30 years of age. So he must be 30 years of age. He should be a person with sound mind. Okay, a very good mind. Taking good decisions and monetarily solvent, which means money making decisions. So financially he must be very soundful. He must have knowledge about all those things. He should not be the member of the Lok Sabha and or any other legislature. So when he is a member of the Rajya Sabha, he should not have any other membership in other things and all. Okay, now we'll see about Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha is a popular house of the Indian Parliament and contains elected representatives of the people. Maximum numbers of can be elected for Lok Sabha is 552. So 552 members can be elected for the Lok Sabha. We'll see the qualification of the members. He must be also a citizen of India. He must have attained the age of 25. He should not hold any office of profit under the union or state government. So he must not be any part of the state government or or a union government, union office. So he must be mentally sound and economically solvent. He must also have a good knowledge of economic things. Okay, he must be mentally sound means he must be very clear in the country, states and all. Taking good decisions and all. So these are the qualification of the members of the Rajya Sabha, okay, and Lok Sabha. Universal adult franchise is followed while electing the members of the Lok Sabha. All Indian citizens above 18 years of age who are registered as voters will vote for their representatives. So universal adult franchise, which means all the persons, all the Indian citizens who have attained 18 years of age, they are qualified to vote. Okay. So in Tamil Nadu, elected members of the parliament from Tamil Nadu is, in Rajya Sabha we have 18 members from Tamil Nadu, and in Lok Sabha we have 39 members. Now we'll see about judiciary. Judiciary is the third organ of the government. It plays a vital role in protecting the rights and freedoms of the citizens. So judiciary, justice, we all need justice at one point of time, right? So it is considered to be one of the organ of government. It plays a very important role in protecting our rights and freedom of a citizen. The Supreme Court, in that we'll see about Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the guardian of our constitution. So it is the guardian, okay, caretaker, okay, it is a protector, the Supreme Court. The judiciary plays an important role in the rights and freedom of the citizens. So this judiciary only plays an important role in the rights, the freedom we have, right? As a citizen of India, we have certain rights and freedom, right? So all these are well planned, okay, come through Supreme Court, the judiciary department only. It plays an important role in analyzing and interpreting the necessities of laws and constitution. So analyzing as well as to face the necessities of laws and constitutions, all will be played by the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in India is appointed by the President of India. So the Chief Justice of Supreme Court will be appointed by the President of India. The other judges are appointed by the President in the consultation with the Chief Justice head. So the group of Chief Justice will be there. So other judges all will be appointed with the consultation and President and the other Chief Justice. We'll see about the qualification of the Supreme Court judges. He must be a citizen of India, and he must have worked as a judge of a high court for at least 5 years. Okay, in different states we have different high courts, right? So he must have worked, his work experience must be 5 years as a judge in the high court. He should also work as an advocate of high court for at least 10 years. So before that he must be an advocate for at least 10 years. He is, in the opinion of the President, a distinguished jurist. So he must be a very remarkable, distinguished, well-versed advocate or jurist, judge, okay, in the opinion of the President. In the eyes of the President, he must be a distinguished jurist. So these are the qualifications of the judges, children. So in this chapter we have seen all these things about the central government, prime minister, president, about parliament, and about the judiciary, which means the Supreme Court. So the central government has a very big power in our country, right? President appoints a prime minister and other members of the council of ministers. So the president has the power. This is just a recap. The parliament consists of three parts: president, Rajya Sabha, and Lok Sabha. The Supreme Court is considered as the guardian of the constitution. The chief justice of Supreme Court in India is appointed by the President of India. So all these things we have been learned in this chapter. I hope you all would have understand this, children. Thank you.